Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. November 17th, 2015. Welcome to another live edition of the Squared Circle. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight. And I'm still tired from the big event of this past weekend.
Yes.
We'll get to that in just a few moments. This is Mr. Ruckus, John Zimmerman, and the dangerous one himself, Dan Off. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. I want to first start off with some bad news. Unfortunately, hate to report this, but one of the all-time great professional wrestlers from the AWA territories in the 1970s and 80s. He was top champion, all-time great heel, later recognized by WWE as part of their Hall of Fame in the class of 2007. Which also included Dusty Rhodes, Curt Hennig, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, The Sheik, and Mr. Fuji. Of course, I'm talking about Nick Bockwinkel. Yeah, very sad to hear that. Died at the age of 80 years old.
It has been a really rough year for the world of wrestling. You got Piper, Dusty Rhodes, you mentioned on that list, and now Nick Bockwinkel. It's, the Royal Rumble in the sky has just got another entrance, and those guys up there must be having quite the bout.
Yeah, definitely. You remember Nick Bockwinkel, of course, right, Dan?
Of course. Broke Vern Gagne's 7-year title streak, and Hulk Hogan defeated him temporarily, and I say temporarily, knowing our history, for the AWA title.
Right. So it's just, it's been a rough year.
Yeah, our hearts go out to his family.
Definitely.
And, the whole wrestling community.
Well, we've been lucking out in years past, recently with, not having too many deaths in the industry, and now all of a sudden, but.
Yeah, it just seems like, that whole thing, the things come in threes, and it's a trifecta now with
Right.
Bockwinkel.
Definitely, but like I said, it's been a real long weekend, and I've got to say that it was a real great weekend. It was a big weekend, a big event weekend.
Yes,
and we got through it. I got to say, things went pretty smooth, I'll have to admit.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I went. It was weird. I didn't know what to expect. Friday night, we were kind of expecting something else, but we ended up hanging out at the bar/restaurant, and Ricky Steamboat and Slick and Coca Beware and Tully Blanchard. And
the stories we can tell you, or
they?
we're going to be telling you, and a little later on, we're going to be having a call in from Robbie Rebel. We had Bobby Dream on last week from ECPW, and one of his big rivals, but also an associate of his with Gimmick Tree Entertainment.
Yes.
Robbie Rebel will be calling us around 8:30 or so, and let me tell you the stories we can tell you.
Well, Robbie and Bobby Dream were working for Gimmick Tree Entertainment, as you know, and Gimmick Tree sponsored Vince Russo and Bill Apter.
Right.
And, through Gimmick Tree, we were able to interview both Bill Apter and Vince Russo. And you'll see that coming up in the upcoming weeks. It's going to take a little while to
Right.
get everything edited and sorted out. And rather than rush and get it on today, we're going to do it the proper way.
Exactly.
And devote a whole show for it. But, Vince Russo couldn't have been nicer to us. He was just a fine gentleman and had a lot of insight and commentary. And Bill Apter was my friend the whole
If
the
they
whole
weren't,
day.
and if they weren't getting ready to sign autographs and talk to their public, we probably could have talked to them a lot longer.
It was a lot of fun because I bumped into Bill Apter quite a few times during the day, and his son had just been bar mitzvahed, and Jacob, as you know, had been bar mitzvahed, and we had that connection. He introduced me to his wife, and his daughter was there,
Right.
and it was really nice, to be, as some people call it, paisan.
Right.
So, it was really cool to have somebody there that had the similar life experience, and it was great, So each time I bumped into him during the day, hey, it was he was my friend for the day.
Right, exactly.
And he just was great on the mic, and it was just fun to watch him work. And we watched him cut a promo with Russo for his own YouTube
I
channel.
got to laugh at the title of Bill Apter's book is Wrestling Fixed. I didn't know it was broken.
Yeah,
I can't think of a better,
right.
especially coming from Bill Apter.
Yeah, Bill Apter, I mean, going all the way back, he is the godfather of wrestling journalism.
Yeah.
And he was in the initial workings of the PWI 500, Wrestling Illustrated. He was one of the architects of putting together the very first 500th list, and subsequently thereafter, many lists. And he hasn't been with PWI for a few years now. But, I mean, if you purchase this magazine, especially when we were younger, it was Bill Apter. This, and the Wrestler magazine. I mean,
he was the lifeblood of both of those magazines,
right.
I would have to say.
Mean, before the advent of VHS, definitely the only way to get your news was these magazines. And
Right.
we would go to the newsstands, and I'm sure that many of the viewers, we would go to the newsstands and just buy these up, and before cable TV, you'd see like little clips here or there. Midnight, you might catch some wrestling show, but a lot of the guys we knew just from the covers of the magazines and from the articles inside. And Bill Apter introduced us to a guy like Nick Bockwinkel,
Right.
To guys like Dusty Rhodes. And I remember seeing, here's another fine
He probably
example
did a
of
lot
Dusty
to
Rhodes.
unite the entire country, wrestling-wise.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because if it wasn't for a publication like Pro Wrestling Illustrated or Wrestler,
Yes.
you wouldn't have known about the other territories,
Right,
on the
and-
other parts of the country.
Yeah, without a doubt,
Right.
and we were exposed to a lot of the wrestlers in that fashion. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have
No.
the cable TV, and we started. And in the back of the magazine, you found other people that you could trade VHS tapes with. So we had WWE territory up here, WWF at the time, and we could tape their programming. And we would trade it with people that had the AWA and people that down south that had Florida Championship, and and you would mail these tapes to one another, and you would be connected through the magazines. And now obviously we have the advent. You can just go on YouTube, watch anything you want, have the WWE Network, and just click on anything you want.
Yeah.
But back then, the magazine was the lifeblood of the business, and Bill Apter just has moved along with the industry, and now he's got his own YouTube station, which you'll see him tell you about it in our interview. And it's just...
We were told Friday night when we got there and we talked to Brian, he's like, go up to Bill Apter and stick a microphone in his face for 30 minutes and see how he likes it.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? We did, and he did like it.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he really was. He was so kind to us. And,
Right.
Here's a guy that just loves the business and just lives it, 24/7, 365. He's just about wrestling. He said his son's bar mitzvah was a wrestling theme. He called it a brawl mitzvah.
Well, I remember him saying that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just so obviously his wife and daughter were there. So they're all in the industry, and everybody knew, not only Bill but his wife and daughter. So obviously they've been to events before, and and Bill was just walking around like it was like high school reunion, and he's meeting reconnecting with everybody. So it was fun to watch him during the day and run into him. But
And Vince Russo, I mean, I can't say enough about him too. I mean, that was it was tremendous.
Yeah, what a gentleman, and very nice to us. And I got autographed my book, and we also got a couple autographs, for some other things we're working on. And he couldn't have been more nice to us, and a kinder gentleman. And you'll see that coming.
Dan, you got to come back with us on March 5th. I know you were otherwise obligated this past weekend, but
Well, I've always got something cooking, but certainly I'll try to make the trip.
definitely.
And we've got an on-camera interview with the legendary WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose, Marty Jannetty. We got footage of some guy named Shawn Michaels. We happened to catch the former PWA.
I just want to know how much did Troy Stevens charge Shawn Michaels for his
I
autograph?
don't know, but we got, you'll see on our Facebook page, and then you'll see footage. The former PWA Square and Circle Television champion with some guy named Shawn Michaels.
Right.
I mean, it's just amazing. Troy Stevens with Shawn Michaels. And we were,
Sean was marking out over Troy too.
oh, without a doubt.
I mean, he sat down. He was looking at him in awe.
So, and I happened to bump into Troy Stevens, the inaugural PWA Squared Circle Television Champion, meeting Bret Hart. And we got an interview with Troy Stevens, and he tells us about his encounter with Bret Hart. And it's just an incredible day. And we got interviews with Cherry and April Hunter and Havoc. And Tessa Blanchard. And
Lucky Pro Wrestling, which had a card Sunday over the weekend. We Jim Bernouin, I think his name is. He runs a table as well at the big event, and he brought in Jessica Havoc, formerly of TNA, Tessa Blanchard, who is the daughter of Tully Blanchard, and Kevin Thorne. We were able to
2 out of 3 ain't
2
bad.
out of 3 ain't bad, like they
Says
say.
Meatloaf, yeah.
Right, Havoc and Tessa Blanchard.
Yes.
Definitely.
Kevin Thorne was very nice to us, but declined a video interview because he has a contract, and he was not able to.
Right, exactly.
Not able to partake in the video. Mm-hmm. But he was very nice, and we talked to him for a little while, and he was very nice to us and very cool. And,
Right.
And apologized, but he's contractually unable, as well as a lot of the people there. Obviously, that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, they have Legends contracts, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So although we got them in passing on video, we weren't able to speak to them directly.
Exactly.
And that's no fault of our own. It's just a
Right.
matter that Vince pays a heck of a lot more than NHTV.
And John, I understand Hollywood ran into to Gail Kemp, but had a chance to speak with her and rose to the occasion.
Well, let's say
What a
that,
phenomenal woman.
yeah.
And she looks great on this old Raw magazine, but the woman in person is beautiful on the inside and out. I'm telling you
You
right
checked
now.
her on the inside? I missed that part.
That's what you just
You
said.
know what I'm talking about.
You just, folks, did he or did he just not say the
Well,
inside?
all I know is that Gail Kim is going to send Jason a dry cleaning bill for her dress.
Hey now,
Monica
that's-
Lewinsky,
that's not nice. She's a married woman.
And besides that, you like men in dresses.
I like Doug Summers.
and
See, you just admitted it, see?
But-
another Asian
Yes.
wrestling
Let's say
personality.
I went to play in the Dollhouse.
Yes.
Jade from the Dollhouse was there. I had a picture taken with her as well. Another, very friendly, just like
Oh, yeah.
Gail Kim. They're
Did you-
both very friendly girls.
Did you check her inside and out too?
Don't believe. I'm trying to be serious here, and these two guys.
I'll tell you, Jade was really sweet, and
No,
she
they're
gave
both.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she talked to us for a while, and Aubrey was with us at that point, and she was talking about Aubrey about being a valet and a worker, and it was really sweet. It was really fun.
Right.
And
Exactly.
you can see on our Facebook page Aubrey with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and quite a few other superstars, Tully Blanchard and Aubrey, and you can see the pictures of Jason with Gail Kim and Jade, and
I do feel bad about one thing though. I mean, you had left, and I walked back in, and that's when I had the brief opportunity to talk to Gail Kim as she was talking to Carlito. I talked to her for a couple minutes,
yeah.
and then went to go talk to Aubrey, say goodbye to her. And when I went back out to my car, okay, all right, let's pretend that this glass of water is my vehicle, right?
What's it, drive on water?
Let's pretend that this pen is the person next to me, and let's pretend this coffee cup is that car over
Tall,
here.
skinny fella.
Yeah.
All right, so that would be like a 2-ton
Take
pickup.
one guess as to whose car that was, or it was.
Strangely enough, it was Gail Kim.
It was Gail Kim.
You were one space away from Gail Kim.
Right,
the whole
exactly. I mean, I walked out to my car to leave, and here she was with her.
time. Right. Good thing you didn't
Agent,
put on
whatever.
any exhaust. She would have been breathing in your exhaust.
I got into my car, and I looked in the rearview mirror, And there was Gail Kim and the Explorer or whatever it was, driving
Did you
off
want to
into.
explore? I bet you wanted to explore. one of the apropos.
I mean,
Inside and
the
out.
poor girl was probably sitting home.
Poor Jason.
What kind of weirdo was that? He followed me into the parking lot.
Oh no, no.
Go ahead.
But that aside, all kidding aside, Brian Barth, we thank you. We
Yes.
thank you. Oh my goodness, from the bottom of my heart, it was literally a once in a lifetime opportunity to have. Just honestly, at the big event, right? Let's talk wrestling history. You had Marty Jannetty, who we got on camera on an interview. Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels. Arguably the biggest, most popular breakup, most controversial breakup, and you had Beefcake there. So you had the three players in that
In that
scenario,
whole concert,
the barbershop window.
Yep.
And you had the biggest breakup. Okay, that's one major scenario in WWE history.
You have a phone call, by the way.
Earl Hebner, we do?
You do.
No, I don't. Earl Hebner, Bret Hart. Oh, here?
Here.
I don't see it here.
No.
Earl Hebner, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels were there. Montreal Screwjob. The three major players in the Montreal Screwjob. You could have saw all in one room, or all in one building.
That's what they
at
did. They
least.
basically got them
Okay.
all back together at the same time.
So there you have probably the biggest controversy in the history of the WWE. I mean, hands down, the biggest. You know, the Montreal Screwjob is like, it's in Wikipedia. You know, I think it's even in an encyclopedia somewhere.
It probably is.
That is
How important
a
that
term,
was.
right? The Montreal Screwjob. You can look it up, and that's what it's called, and that's what it's referred to. So you had that, and then you had the Clique. You had China, Hall, and Nash. And we witnessed China walk over, and there's the phone call now. We witnessed China walk over and interact with Kevin Nash, which God knows how many years it's been since they've been together.
Seriously.
So, I mean, for Brian Barth to get all that in one spot, it's just amazing.
It's, how could he possibly top that
We
in
will take
March?
this call.
Live on the Squared Circle.
Good evening.
Hi, John. It's Sab. What's up?
Hey, what's happening?
Nothing. What's good?
Yeah? What's going on at the PWA?
So, came up with a new idea, a fabulous idea. Friday night fights. I'm bringing it back every Friday, and starting with the first Friday in December. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
What do we got coming up this week? Do you have a card laid out yet, or is it just whoever shows up?
Well, I've been in contact with a few superstars here and there, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. The international champion Joseph Von Schmidt will be in the house. That's all I'm telling you. You have to show up to see who else comes.
And I understand the format will be 5 fights for one family friendly price. Is that correct?
Yep. And you don't know what match you're going to see, who's going to show up. I might throw little surprises in there. You never know.
Well, being the PWA commissioner, I mean, it's within your realm to call the matches and what have you.
Yep. I got things up my sleeves. I've been in contact with so many people. This is going to be the best idea I've ever had.
So this is going to be a weekly thing now, moving forward, starting this week.
Yep. Every Friday except for Christmas.
Except for Christmas Day, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And that begins at 8 o'clock, and that's there at the PWA training facility.
Yep. Every Friday night, 8 o'clock, PWA's house.
Well, I mean, I can't say how excited I am. 'Cause I remember going back. This was a concept that Joseph Von Schmidt had a while back when he was in the New Haven facility, and he would do the Friday night fights. And I'm glad that you're bringing it back because we might have the opportunity to see the PWA Squared Circle television champion in action.
Maybe. If I decide to let him show up, I mean, I'm sure he'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, and of course we're speaking about Azrael, and we had the opportunity over the weekend. We were just talking about Troy Stevens. He was the inaugural PWA Squared Circle television champion. So I'd imagine we're going to see Troy Stevens in action as well.
You might.
We might.
Just might, you
wanna
never
give too
know.
much
You
away.
got to
Well,
basically
he's
show
playing it
up.
very close to the
Right.
vest. So I mean, it's fantastic. Can you tell us anything about an open open challenge for people that want to come in and be wrestlers. Do you have the information on that?
Well, we've been in contact with a bunch of indie people. I've been talking to their agents and all that stuff. So I'm bringing in some big names. So you got to come and see who it is.
Oh, that's fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for giving people that opportunity to come in and be seen by the Connecticut wrestling community, and having us be a little part of that.
I know.
Any chance that some of these youth members would be in action on a Friday night sometime?
Yeah, I'm thinking about bringing in some new blood.
Yeah,
Maybe give them a little opportunity.
because I happen to know that they put on a little exhibition yesterday for the lucky folks in the house yesterday.
Out of all the
Yep.
companies, I don't really see anybody else with a youth program besides PWA.
No,
I've got to
no.
say that. That's,
No.
And out of all the other companies, I don't see anyone with a television title in the state of Connecticut.
No.
We can boast.
Or a fabulous boss like me.
Mike E. Fabulous,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Fabulous commissioner.
Right.
Well, I mean, just bringing back the Friday night fights. I can't wait to see who shows up and what you're going to do next.
Me either. It's going to be a fabulous experience.
And just for the folks that don't know, what's the address over there? How do we get in contact? And what's the website and all that happy stuff?
You can visit us at ProWrestlingAcademyCT.com. We have the phone number, the address, the Facebook, the ticket link. That's all you need.
That's fantastic. And of course, you can go through the link on our Facebook page, and you always have your home, your PWA news, and PWA Superstars right here on the home of the PWA Squared Circle television title.
Right.
So, anything else you got out there for our upcoming for our fans?
Well, I have a few surprises, but I can't tell you about them now. But I got to go.
All right,
There's
Mikey.
some indie wrestlers clicking in. Thank you.
Mikey Fabulous, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
See you guys.
All right.
That's the most fabulous commissioner there is, the PWA commissioner, Mike E. Fabulous.
Mike E. Fabulous, yes.
Right, exactly.
Yes, and you see him in the ring and making some announcements. And since he's come in, he's making a few changes. And PWA is the top promotion in Connecticut right now. And
Yeah. They
Joseph
haven't been doing much lately, but
if you watch Joseph Von Schmidt and you watch Wrecking Ball Legursky and Troy Stevens, they're out there. Joseph Von Schmidt's collecting gold all over New England.
I know Wrecking Ball is going to be part of the Us versus Them card coming up
Yeah.
December 12th.
Those guys are bringing the PWA brand all over Connecticut and the New England area. So.
And of course, we are the originators, not the imitators. Thank you,
Yes.
and we will be covering those shows.
Oh, absolutely.
We will be.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
And you're talking about the PWA Squared Circle television title. This state goes back to the 1600s, and television began popularity. It started around 1939 on a widespread and began popularity through the 40s. And since, the charter of the state of Connecticut, and since the dawn of the television, there has not been a Connecticut television title for the wrestling community.
No.
And we've brought the first, the one, the only television title to the wrestling community in the state of Connecticut. You would have thought, since 1941, all those years ago, somebody would have done it. But
And
no,
nobody ever
it
did.
took the Squared Circle and PWA to bring you your first television champion. And this weekend, you saw the first PWA Squared Circle television champion interacting with some schmo named Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
Imagine that.
yeah.
And you'll see video of that coming up,
Shawn Michaels was marking out.
without a doubt.
He really was.
Without
He
a
was
doubt.
like in awe.
Shawn Michaels accomplished a lot of things.
But Shawn Michaels will never be able to say he was the first ever PWA Squared Circle television champion.
That's correct.
So therefore, he's no Troy Stevens,
That's right.
He's no
because he's
choice.
never held that belt.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you see right over my shoulder. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. There it is. In all its glory, right there.
That's right.
The
And,
PWA
of course,
Squared Circle television championship.
And if you look on our Facebook page over the weekend, the current and reigning PWA Squared Circle television champion, Azrael, is pictured with some guy in a mask named Rey Mysterio. Yeah, Rey Mysterio. And the current PWA Square Circle Television champion, Azrael.
Right.
So, we're standing among dignitaries, is all I'm going to say. Is, it's in good company. You've got two PWA Square Circle Television champions with arguably, one Hall of Famer and one future Hall of Famer. Regardless of, the accidents that Rey Mysterio has been involved in, Rey Mysterio
Which are numerous,
will
but
be in the Hall of Fame.
right.
Will be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And
Without a
speaking of
doubt.
WWE Hall of Fame, I had the opportunity to interview Pete Rose. Did I mention that?
You did mention that.
Okay. Just saying.
But
Hall
what
of
was
Famers-
Pete
Hall of
Rose
Famers
like?
love the Square Circle.
What was Pete Rose like?
You'll have to see. Because you hadn't arrived yet. I think you were eating breakfast with a few of the other superstars.
I might have been, yeah.
But, yeah, he was an interesting character. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And again, Brian Barth, goodness me, I can't thank you enough. And
Right.
we had such a wonderful time. And he was just wonderful to us. And, Hebner, I can't even remember. It was just so busy and so crazy. And we were just walking around between Mickey James and Tessa Blanchard and Jade and Jazz and Christy Hemme and Brooke Tessmacher
Absolutely.
and
The Horseman.
Oh my goodness, J.J. Dillon, Arn Anderson, J.J. Dillon, and Dean Malenko, and Tony Blanchard, and goodness me,
Sid.
Psycho Sid, and Sandman.
Sid looked totally different.
And Sandman, and Sabu.
Now, that's a funny story about
and
Sandman.
Kid Cash, and Masters, and the Wolves, and Boogeyman, and Cherry, and oh my goodness, and the Nasty Boys. And we got an interview with Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Beefcake was there, and Danny Davis, and the Powers of Pain. And so it was mind blowing. Everywhere you turned, there was somebody else, some mega.
You walked
slick
up to
and
the
Coco
Sandman,
Beware.
right?
Yeah.
I think I was there in the distance, and you thought it was the Sandman. It
There was
wasn't.
a Sandman look-alike, and you'll see. I got him on camera, and it was a lot of fun. He was giving me a good ribbing, and
Yeah.
it was fun.
He got you with that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Because here we are in an environment when you're expecting to meet the Sandman, and there this gentleman was, and he does legitimately look like Sandman, and he said he gets it all the time, and we had a good laugh about it, and it was fun. But I mean, the real Sandman was there, and Tori Wilson. There's another.
Beautiful.
Missy Hyatt. I mean, and the Beverly Brothers, and everywhere you turn, it was just like one after the other after the other. And it was a virtual who's who of the history of wrestling. From the up and comers when you had Bobby Dream and Robbie Rebel, who we're expecting to hear from.
Right.
So you had the up and comers and the young men, and all the way up to the legends, of Arn Anderson and Dean Malenko, who arguably set the standard for these two young men
To come in, right.
To come in and strive for. And then you had, Mr. WrestleMania himself, and Bret Hart, and, Neidhart. And, it was just, it was overwhelming. It really, really was. And honestly, had I not been there myself, I could barely believe it.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
And if anybody has the opportunity to go the next big event, March 5th,
Yeah.
I strongly encourage it.
It took every ounce of self-control not to mark out. And, in little private moments, I was like,
I had
have
to
to
put.
admit.
I said this to myself the night before Thursday night.
yeah,
I was home. I said to myself, I have to put them in the same line mentality
yeah.
as if we were interacting with the PWA guys or the PVP guys or the RPW guys, and I think it worked, and that's how I didn't mark out.
Right.
They're just human beings. They're just like everybody else.
But, somewhere, I mean, your heart had to be racing a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm standing 5 feet away from Shawn Michaels.
Well,
Yes.
he was fine standing 5 feet away from Shawn Michaels.
Right.
It was that Gail Kim thing you alluded to earlier, right?
You could look at the glow on my,
Yeah.
right,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
right.
Clean up on aisle 4.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult, I must say. I mean, it was just, you can handle maybe one superstar, 2 superstars. I mean, you go to some of the local shows, and every now and then they'll bring in 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Bret Hart arguably was in Waterbury the night before on Friday, and you see 1 or 2, but it was like 40, 50. I mean, I can't even count. It was mind-boggling. You turned here, and you had China and Taz, and you turned here, and you had Mickey James and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and you turned over here, and you had Sabu
Right.
and Tajiri. I mean, the Green Mist coming right at you, and Justin Roberts, and you went over here, and there was Bret Hart and Neidhart and Dangerous Danny Davis. Not only one of the most controversial referees in the business, but one of his training facility, has trained superstars and legends. And then you turn here and there's the Powers of Pain, and you turn over here and here's Slick and Coco Beware and Marty Jannetty, and it's like.
now you're working out.
It's honestly, my head is still just like
Right.
exploding because it was just, it was overwhelming.
But to
Really,
me,
really, really
more
was.
realistic to me was what really hit me, and I knew I was there, was Friday night, and I walked out of my room, and I went downstairs to get something to eat,
Yeah,
and it was a little pricey, but I
Okay.
said, it's worth it,
yeah,
just to sit there, and you never know who's going to walk in.
yeah. And you never know who's going to walk in.
And
Wow.
the people that walked in, and the person walking in right now, and you never know who's just gonna show up
Right.
at that bar.
Right. And I walked out, and you're sitting at the bar/restaurant, and by no means was anybody like imbibing like crazy, or we're not trying to imply that. It was more of a relaxed atmosphere of people catching up that hadn't seen one another in a while, and Ricky Steamboat, totally blind. I mean, you can tell. Go ahead. I've been talking.
I'm sitting there. Okay, here's me. I keep using
I know. Well, we don't need the whole, but across from you.
and
is-
across from me over here is like, there's Ricky Steamboat. There's J.J. Dillon. There's Tully Blanchard.
Right.
And man, Tully looks totally different.
Yeah. But and then
And-
Coco and Slick, and then who walks in but Aubrey St. John?
Walks in, but John Zimmerman.
Right. But it's Aubrey is always full of surprises. Everybody knows and loves Aubrey St. John, and it's such a privilege and an honor to have Aubrey be a part of our show. And if you look on our page, our Facebook page, you can see her with all the superstars.
Right.
And everywhere she goes, she always gives us a little love and gives us access to the people that she knows and the people that know her. But it never surprises me, right? That everybody knows and loves Aubrey, and props to her. And it's just a lot of fun to be around her and all the people. And as you know, you were sitting there with her, and just
Right. And everybody kept showing up.
yeah, and she's sitting there hanging out with Steamboat like they were best friends for years.
You could sit home and laugh and say, yeah, okay, Jay, yeah, right. All these people showed up, ha ha ha. But shell out the money for a room next time they come around,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you're gonna be amazed. Kevin Nash was having dinner in back of me.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash walked in. We saw Kevin Nash off in the distance checking in.
Right.
And about half hour later, he came down.
Right.
I think you had already left.
I came down. I saw him. Over in the other room.
Right.
A little private.
Right.
Having dinner, but yeah, I did see him. And I saw Jannetty arrive, Marty Jannetty,
Right.
and as we said, it was just overwhelming. There were so many people there, and you went last year and met Ric Flair, and they had quite a few people there. And I had gone previously, and for me, Bruno Sammartino, I went there. But that year, he had George the Animal Steel and Slaughter and Y2J, just Jericho. And at that time, Jericho was huge with Fozzy and the The last Fozzy record had just come out. You know, Jericho was on top of the world, and you know, Brian Barth brings in for the big event. It truly is a big event.
It truly is. And I think we have another call.
Excellent. Good
You're
evening. You are live on the Squared Circle.
Oh, what's up, man? It's Robbie Rebel.
There he
Hey,
is.
there he is.
There he
Yeah,
is.
sorry, I was having a little trouble. I had to go onto the Wi-Fi calling instead of the regular call.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
How you guys?
For the people that don't know, we're speaking to Robbie Rebel. He is the ECPW Long Island champion.
Yes, that is me.
And
is him.
you have a match. So last week, as you know, Bobby Dream was on the show, and he said there's a little controversy in your last match with him. So coming up on December 5th, you guys are going to hopefully have a clean finish and work out who the real ECPW Long Island champion is.
Well, to be perfectly honest, man, we all know who has been holding the belt. This is the second time. I'm the only two-time champion over there. I was the first ever champion over there. So you could ask anyone out on Long Island. Robbie Rebel is the only champion that they should be looking at.
And that is, as I said, Saturday, December 5th. I'm not going to pronounce this. Ronkonkoma.
Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, you got it right, actually. Ronkonkoma, New York.
Fire Department, Ronkonkoma, New York. And what's the website so people can go and check you out?
It's ecpw1.com. It's not just for Ronkonkoma. It's the whole East Coast professional wrestling. Sorry about that. We have around, I would say, maybe 200 shows throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
We're always running out of either Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, upstate New York. There's a bunch of different places that Gino Caruso runs out of.
Yep.
So there's different branches of East Coast professional wrestling.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I believe a couple weeks ago you were in Stratford,
Right.
right? Not too long ago in Stratford, Connecticut. And on that card on December 5th, you've got a lumberjack match between Andrew Anderson versus the Boondocks.
Yes,
And
the Boondocks.
Anderson was at the big event, which we met you there.
I did get to talk to Drew at the big event. Unfortunately, he did get a booking in Seattle, so I do not believe that match is actually going to happen.
Oh, wow.
But the Rocky Mountain Madman Boondocks will be facing a similar opponent of his size.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay.
Yes, the guy is around almost 300 pounds. He's a big boy.
And WWE Hall of Famer is on that card, Mr. USA Tony Atlas.
Yes, he'll be teaming up with Mr. Gary Reno.
And they're facing the Iraqi Butchers.
Yes, Iraqi Butchers. Those guys have been real nasty. There was a couple of times where when I was defending my belt, I had them come out and just beat me to hell with an Iraqi stick.
What in the world is an Iraqi stick?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know.
The flag. The
Oh,
flag.
okay. Okay.
That's what they've been calling it.
Oh, I got you. Well, I mean, it just sounds like a stacked card from top to bottom, and to see you versus Bobby Dream. Now, I mean, Bobby Dream let us in. I mean, you guys are friends, yes?
Yes. Outside of Long Island, me and him have actually tag teamed. We're called the Winner Circle. But when it comes down to being a champion and being the highlight of the spotlight, there's only room for one person.
Right.
And when it comes to Robbie Rebel versus Bobby Dream,
Yep.
I'm sorry, Dream. You're gonna have to stay in line, man.
Wow.
Wow.
So, once you step in that ring, the friendships are over.
Some bold talking here.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, unfortunately, there's only one. That's just the way it is.
There has to be one. There
So-
can't be two.
We've been reminiscing about the big event.
We had a
you-
great time.
You and the folks at Gimmick Tree were, I mean, super friendly and great to us. And you were there, and you spent like most of the day with Vince Russo and Bill Apter. Anything you can tell us?
Yeah. Well, tell us
anecdotes?
about your experience. I remember we were hanging out Friday night too.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, Friday night where we all got to sit around, hang out, have a couple of drinks with the boys. I mean, the fact that and I don't want to sound like like I'm about to quote unquote mark out.
No.
But the fact that you're sitting in the bar with all these people that have paved the way for you. I mean, let's face facts. I'm only 25, so I grew up watching people like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and like you hear good rumors, you hear bad rumors, but the fact of the matter is that no matter how hard or how professional everyone is, the child inside me is always going to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that actually happened. I never once realized that it was going. And it's not going to come out, but the child inside of me is not
Right.
containing it.
Did you ever think you'd be in the same bar next to J.J. Dillon and Tully Blanchard and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash?
And like
Ricky
Ricky
the
Steamboat,
Dragon
I know Shawn Michaels have walked through real quick too. Like those that's Hall of Famers right there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So no matter what anyone says, it's an honor. It's
Yeah.
an honor just to be in their presence.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's what we were saying. And it's walking through the convention hall, and we were just saying everywhere you turn, you couldn't swing a cat without hitting a Hall of Famer. And it was just amazing.
Was it you that had a slice of Tully Blanchard's pizza, or was that Bobby Dream? I know he had left it there.
I'm not gonna lie. I made sure that Saturday was a cheat day just so I could actually eat whatever I wanted.
Anybody else that you had some interaction with, or?
I mean, I had an interaction with Pete Polacco.
Yeah.
Right.
That's incredible.
Justin,
He was talking about
lives right in Connecticut. Yeah.
yeah, he was. I think he did Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore that night as well, right?
Not sure if he went.
You probably
No, I'm
most
pretty
like-
sure. I'm pretty sure he had a match with Dreamer himself over there, and I
wow.
know he's going to be having his last match at PWS, Pro Wrestling Syndicate.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So that's something that people should really look into.
Yeah.
But I also I don't know. It was just like there was so much to do at the time. I kind of like I could go on and on about names. Gail Kim was there, like you guys said. I was.
Oh, I
with
was
Bill
talking
after,
about Gail
and-
Kim. I had my
Yeah.
picture taken with her.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually parked in the parking garage. She was parked like 2 cars away from mine.
You're really
That's
impressed
awesome,
with
man.
that. You're
I
really
really, I can't believe the irony in that.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yeah, but you also got you got to remember that there are also people too.
Yeah,
Some of
yeah.
them are just going through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like as you said, the child inside of you, you can't not say, oh my goodness, I grew up watching this, I mean, how many of us watched Ricky the Dragon Steamboat when we were kids?
Exactly.
And
Ricky's one of the reasons why I wanted to be a babyface. For a long, long time, I wanted people just to love me.
Yeah.
And that's what happens out here on Long Island is that I'm loved by people. There's a couple of times where I'll go to the mall and they'll be like, if I'm wearing my top hat, it's Robbie effing Rebel. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to toot my own horn there, but you could ask my girlfriend. You guys, a couple of my buddies. It's happened to me before.
oh,
and
I
just-
believe it.
that type of sense of people knowing you and you have no idea who they are. It's just so flattering.
Jason and I get
And-
that quite often.
Oh, of course. I'm used to it.
But
Well,
and Bob,
hopefully
we,
you guys
we
get it.
failed to mention Bob Backlund was there. Mm-hmm. Right, and I mean,
Bob Backlund looks so good for his age. Did anyone else notice that? It looks like he hasn't aged at
He
all.
looks
in a
the
while.
same as he ever
and,
did.
and he's been in our studio on
Yes.
in your old show. Bob Backlund's another Connecticut resident. A lot of these guys, being that they were with Vince for a long time, live right around the corner from us. And
Oh, yeah, right up in the Northeast. You'd be surprised how many people. And there's a lot of people down in Georgia too.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And then of course Florida is a stopping grounds. But the
Well,
one guy,
everyone retires goes down there.
but and of course Grant Valentine was like right next to you guys. Valentine Beefcake.
yeah, and the Nasty Boys as well.
And the Nasty Boys right in between y'all. I mean, it's like I said, you couldn't swing a cat without hitting a superstar, and it was just amazing. Boogeyman was right around the corner from y'all.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, so I actually got to meet the Boogeyman before. Like I said, there was just so many people that were just right there. You shake your hand, and then next thing you know, you're off to the next person, and it just blows your mind. You don't remember half the stuff. You just remember that you met a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see that. I just remember we were trying to film the throngs of people.
Yeah.
And the fans I interviewed and how they were looking forward to meeting like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Just
And I can't wait to watch some of the footage that we got. We had 3 cameras running all day long, and so
it was hard to maneuver that camera around that microphone amongst all those.
Yeah, there were so many people.
Yeah.
And we probably have like 40 hours worth of footage to swim through.
Oh, really?
And
That's a lot of editing, boys. A lot of editing.
Yeah.
A lot of editing.
But absolutely worth it. And again, on behalf of our show, to Gimmick Tree Entertainment, tell your boss that we can't thank him enough. And
Yeah. Tell Charlie we said thank you.
Charlie Armstrong's a great man. He's done a lot for me personally as well as I work my butt off for him, but I haven't really got to taste wrestling until I met this guy, and we've only been in business together for maybe almost about a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not a long time.
Did he make it back out to Vegas yet, or is he still around?
I believe he's either in Vegas now or he's back in Roanoke or Wilmington, because I know we're supposed to be doing WrestleCade in Wilmington with Bill Apter, Missy Hyatt, and a lot of other people. The list is so long that when I'm trying to plug it, I can't remember everybody.
That's just
And
fantastic.
we're at the point where we're just like, oh man, we need bodies to help us, but we finally got we got that all dealt with and stuff. But it's our WrestleCade is actually I'm saying this on radio, but it's going to be our coming out party for. Yeah, I know it's going to be our coming out party for the new promotion that we're going to be building for.
Oh, that's fantastic. And is that an exclusive? We heard it here first.
I believe you guys have heard it first, yes.
Wow.
And it's not. I'm not going to say an official name or anything yet, but
Yeah.
we will be having a big announcement about our coming out party.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, we can't thank you guys enough. You guys are such, all kidding aside, and breaking kayfabe, you guys are such great fellas to work with and to hang out with. And it was just Bobby Dream and yourself were just 2 fine gentlemen, and I wish you all the success in the world. And it just seems with Charlie and Gimmick Tree, you guys got the right backing behind you and are going to go the distance. You're going to go all the way, man.
Hey man, I mean, if it comes down to going all the way and just being behind the scenes and watching us plant a seed so that something could grow, I'm all for that. The reason why I got into this business was to make something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
And being just a part of something that could just twist how either media is or just being something in some type of community, it gives you something to look back upon, even when all this falls, and then when you're old and you don't know what you're doing anymore, you could still look back on saying, talk to your grandkids or whatever and say, you know what, I did something.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I want to be around and just continue being around, even if it's not wrestling anymore, even if I'm not putting my body line on the line anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of rambling.
No, not at all.
That's
Not at all.
fine.
That's why we're talking to you. You're right in at the beginning of the experience, and we've been doing this for 4 years plus now.
Yeah.
And
Wow, that's good for you guys.
my younger son is training in the ring, and I just watched him have an exhibition match yesterday. It was the first time he had to call his own match with his partner, and it could have gone better, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He did a fine job. It could have gone better, and that's why you train, and that's why you're learning.
Right.
And
Emphasis on the word training for some people.
yes, thank you.
Quick,
And then
boom.
my oldest son is getting a career out of this. He's behind the camera and behind the scenes and doing his thing, and he's ready to launch his college career and get into the broadcasting business because of what we've been doing here.
I'm sorry,
Go
but
ahead.
you know what's crazy about this business is that you'll learn more behind the scenes than you will being in that ring.
Yeah.
All that stuff that you do behind the scenes, you could put that into real life stuff. It's, improv and acting, everyone on the freaking corner could do that. But when it comes down to holding a camera and knowing when the time is for something, that is really big, and you could take that anywhere, especially in the entertainment business.
Yes, yeah. And, right here in our studio, we've had people that work on our show have gone on to ESPN, have gone on to the WWE, and worked at WrestleMania last year.
Right.
We had one of the producers of our show at WrestleMania last year. Like I said, ESPN, News Channel 12, ABC, NBC. I mean, it's just amazing. Right here in our little studio at HTV in North Haven, Connecticut, our interns have gone on to huge things. And as I said, being at the curtain in gorilla position at
Right.
WrestleMania, no exaggeration. So
And on Monday Night Raw
I
every
believe
week.
it, man. Ambition is everything with it as well. If you're not willing to go forward, you're not going to go forward. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not pushing, you won't go anywhere.
Right, and the two fellas that are working on our show as we speak right now are training and learning to go on to bigger and better things. And Jason and I are just one little tiny brick in that
Right.
huge wall, but we're glad that we can do it. And yourself, if any support that we can give you, any promotion that we can give you,
Right.
we're glad to help you. And we love to see guys with your
Oh, thank
passion,
you.
with your passion,
Right.
getting into such a fun industry, man.
I think that's what separates this show from anything else. Is it's not about us. It's about the people that we have on as guests and the companies that we try to push.
Yeah.
It's about putting you guys first.
Exactly.
And that's highly appreciated, man. It's you won't have a what's the word I'm looking for, a more loyal fan base than wrestling fans.
right.
You'll have people who I'll even throw this out as an example. This is probably a bad example at the time, but everyone loved Ronda Rousey, and then she got knocked out. Now everyone is either on her side, not on her side. They love you Sunday and they hate you Monday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But with wrestling fans, the minute, whether you're in this day and age, the minute that you're a bad guy, good guy, whatever, if they like what you've done, they're going to show you that they've liked what you've done.
Yep, yep, exactly. So wrapping it up, that website once again, so we can find out everything we need to know about ECPW.
ECPW1.com. You guys can find me on Robbie Rebel on Twitter and Facebook, ROBBIE. Look for the top hat, and I think that's really it. WrestleCade, Bill Apter, Vince Russo, etc. I'm trying to plug as much as I can.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thank you for calling, and again, it was a wonderful meeting you, and we look forward to working with you in
Right.
the future.
We invite you
Yes,
to come down to
I
the
look forward to
studio.
it too. Okay, well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All
Yep.
right, thank you.
Yep.
Have a wonderful night.
Take it easy.
You too. Night.
Right. And Robbie, we invite you to the studio. One of these days, we're going to work it out and have you on as a guest. And
Yeah.
maybe we're always going to Massachusetts to promote up there, but eventually we're
a
going to
trip
make it
to
out.
Long Island.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, you've been on a ferry or two.
Of course, Block Island.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Exactly. Before we wrap up, I just want to
Jay's very good with ferries.
I like Block Island. But before we wrap things up, I just want to throw out more quick indie news. Besides the PWA announcing their Friday night fights, I am going to be in. Mr. Hoff will be with us, I assume. We're going to be checking out the Hispanic American Wrestling Alliance.
Yes.
Been cordially invited. This is going to be at Springfield High School of Science and Technology in Springfield, Mass. We have ladies match. We have Ashley Vox versus Delmy XO versus Tequila Rose versus Valkyrie versus Carmen Labella. It's kind of an elimination match.
Wow.
Doug Summers. I don't think he uses the dress here though.
You'll be disappointed. Broken hearted.
Maybe we'll let you borrow it.
I don't know. Taking on Fox Vineyard. Huracan Boricua Jr. versus Nate Nastic. Also included Tyrek, Izzy, and Narcisco Rex, El Lobo, Herbster, Spectacular JC, and 5-Star Jace. 5-Star Spectacle, of course. The Black and Blue Crew, Micro Man, and El Boricua. So,
And that's
divided by
21st.
one half of the Sea Stars, I think, why not? We're going to be up in the Hartford area anyway, so
Yeah.
we'll go check it out.
Yeah.
And the next PvP show will be December 5th at the American Legion in Hadley. The PvP debut of Slick Wagner Brown and H2O Ryan Waters. It'll be very interesting to see which alliance Slick Wagner Brown's joins. Is he going to be an aristocrat? Is he going to be a closer? Is he going to be a member of the viewer's choice? Aaron Morrison, who used to be Hammer Tunis' tag team partner, will be in Hollister's Outlet to discuss Tunis' latest change in attitude.
And who's the champion?
Brad Hollister.
See what gentleman I am. I set him up for his
Now I
favor.
can remember that.
Yes.
RPW Saves Christmas will be December 12th at St. Thomas the Apostle Church in Palmer. Christmas Winter Wonder Slam, and on the same night, a little closer in Enfield, Connecticut, at Whirly Ball, is Us versus Them. So far, we got Scotty Wild versus Mark Quinn, Xavier Bell versus Ace Romero versus the Dirt Dog, Jeremy Leary. Smart Mark Sterling takes on Fluffy, the Killer Bunny. Interesting enough. Blue Pants, formerly of NXT, Leva Bates, along with the Answer to Your Prayers, Ariel and Nix, tag teaming against Team Sea Stars,
Nice.
which is Ashley Vox and Delmy XO.
Yep.
Battery versus Minutemen as well. Hammer Tunis will be there too.
Wow.
The new attitude of his,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So,
So
that's
your girls, the Sea Stars, and a lot of action coming up.
yeah.
That's
And,
just,
and Wrestle Jam this Saturday too. British Swedish Social Club. If you could say that 10 times fast.
no, I can't.
Right. Yeah, Sea Stars are having a lot of action lately.
Yeah.
They're going to be with Sheldon Goldberg
Relatively soon, yeah.
relatively soon
Yep.
for the World Women's Wrestling
And
League.
I understand at Wrestle Jam, one of our top contributors, our super fan, will be in the house.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Mr. Bill Thompson.
Mr. Bill Thompson.
Long time no see, Mr.
I haven't
Bill.
seen him in a long time. I wonder where he is.
He's a busy fellow,
I know.
but he's always keeping tabs on us.
I don't know. I can't really say I have any blowing off steam.
You know,
What am I going to say? I'm not really used to playing tools.
you know, it's
I guess.
Well, I heard you've been blowing off a
dream.
lot of things, but
it was literally a dream, and it, you know, how can you complain? You know, we were just in the presence of some of the wrestling greatness, and we made some new friends and got some great footage, and it's going to be fantastic when we get all that put together. And you know, there's nothing bad to say. There's no negativity at all
No.
coming out of this weekend. It was just, you know, and I thank everyone involved that we were there. And you said a lot of it up, and I must say on air that Jason did one hell of a job getting it all together and getting us there. And
If I didn't go to that first big event, well, it wasn't the first, but the
Right.
first
You're
one I went
first,
to a
yeah.
couple of years ago
right,
with a colleague of mine, you know, maybe this would have never happened. And
right, and you know, again, Gimmickry Entertainment and Brian Barth with the big events. Wow, and I'm still just, you know, I'm just gonna have, you know, ride the high for a long time. Fantastic.
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you again, Brian. So we're gonna start working on that. We're gonna send it to you, and we'll have some things to talk about in the future too.
And,
I'm sure.
Hopefully, you know, we'll get invited back in March, and we'll do it all again.
Definitely.
Can't imagine it. It's just like living the dream.
Living the dream. Definitely. Gotta check it out. It's an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next Tuesday, folks. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night and good luck. And don't forget Survivor Series this Sunday. Yeah, whatever, right? Take it easy, folks.